And finally, Costanera Aqua. I did save the best for last. This is hands down where I want to live with my family once it's ready. So, love the developers, love the area. Here's what I really love. Hey there, my name's Kent Davis, and I've been living and working in Panama for the last 18 years. And today I'm going to talk to you about what I think are the best developments if you're thinking about the qualified investor program or residency by investment, or if you are looking to purchase a pre-construction property for above $300,000, because that's the threshold in order to qualify. So a couple quick rules, and I can always put you in touch with an attorney before we get into the breakdown of my reasoning for these particular developments, because there are a lot more than 6 developments out there that will qualify you for this visa. However, I think these are the top 6, and I'm going to explain to you why, and even in the context why I did not pick a few of the other developments. So, quick heads up on the qualified investor visa program. So you got to invest $300,000 cash. And the cool thing is that you can buy development that is not going to be ready for 4 years and still qualify before that development is even delivered, if you can imagine that. That's kind of cool, right? And I believe, and sometimes the rules change, but currently you can qualify and then you can actually get on a fast track to citizenship in 5 years. Now, it's not full citizenship, you can't vote. However, you get your passport. But more importantly, let's talk about these 6 developments that I think are very interesting for the qualified investor program. So here's how I rank these investments. And you're gonna see actually a link below to be able to download a report where I break down all of this. Here's a quick preview of the report. So more importantly, let's talk about what I looked at. So if you are purely an investor, one of the things that you're gonna wanna think about is you got a holding period. I believe it's 5 years where you got to hold on to this development after you buy it, but sometimes life changes and you want to sell, right? So if you need to sell after that 5-year holding period, which you can, then that is an important factor, I think, the liquidity of the development. So that is one of the factors I break down. Another factor I break down is how solid is this developer, because you get a lot of new guys out there that you're going to be waiting through your development. You might not be happy with the quality. The renders might not match exactly how your pool is or the finishes in your kitchen or your bathroom. Another factor that is included in the report, and then I'm going to be going over here in a second, is the balance sheet of that developer. So again, the function of, are they new? Are they old? If they're old, how many developments do they have on the go? Because if you've got a guy that's been around for a while that has always done 1, maybe 2 developments at a time, and now they're doing 10, that's a yellow flag. It might mean they're really popular. Clearly they are. However, how are they going to allocate their cash? And more importantly, how quickly are you going to get the keys to your property and being able to start getting a return on your investment? ROI is also one of the factors that we explore that I'm going to be talking about in this report, which took a long time to make, by the way. We did a lot of research on these particular developments. So ROI, of course, what's the price like? What can you rent it out for? What's your tenant profile? And how quickly are you going to be able to get it rented? And of course, a function of the developer. How good is the developer such that you're not going to be, say, repairing your pool in a couple years or replacing your elevator in 5 years, because that's a major expense. One of the other factors that we talk about is neighborhood trajectory. For example, neighborhood like San Francisco does not score that high on the neighborhood trajectory, not because it's not a great neighborhood, because it is. I go to San Francisco all the time with my family. We go out to eat, we go out to the park. Great neighborhood, very safe, good things coming. They are going to be redoing some of the sidewalks, but San Francisco is an old neighborhood, and I personally think that while it's certainly a solid investment, I don't think the trajectory is there to say, okay, well, you might be more likely to experience appreciation than an area, for example, like the Amador Causeway. Why? Because there's not really much on the Amador Causeway right now. but it's coming. We've got a convention center, we've got new hotels coming in, and we've got this whole new cluster of development. So that's one of the projects I'm going to be talking to you about here in a second. So let's get into the first one so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the Casa Parque development, and we've actually got a video on that particular development where I interviewed the lead architect and one of the owners. So how does this development rank? Well, first of all, I like the balance sheet because these guys are solid. They're also going to be delivering this year. So we've got delivery for Casa Parque in 2026. Why is that important? Because time is always a factor in an investment. You outlay $300,000, you're not making any interest on that property, right? Or on that capital allocation, meaning, shoot, I need the keys now so I can start collecting an income. Okay, Casa Parque. How does it score on our development profile? And I'm looking at my scorecard here right now. So overall, 83 and 3/4, I should say, which is actually a pretty good score. We don't give out hundreds. I just don't do it. I don't give out straight A's because nothing is perfect. So how do these guys rank? Balance sheet and execution, they're going to do a good job. They're very close to finishing. Neighborhood trajectory, this is one of the lowest scores that I gave. Again, it's in San Francisco, so great neighborhood, lovely neighborhood, lots going on, but not a whole lot of reason to think that this neighborhood is going to be totally different in 5 to 10 years, because I think it's going to be slow and steady. It's a giant neighborhood. So amenity package is okay. It's not amazing. You get a great pool, nice open air athletic facility, and common areas. Really cool design building, really cool design apartments. But the amenity package compared to the rest of the developments that I'm going to tell you about in a second they're good. They're fine. They're great, but they're not amazing. So price per square meter, this particular development scored very well. I like where Servando and his team priced the project. I think it's very accessible, and that then leads to good ROI because obviously you're buying well, you can rent nicely, you get better returns than if you're paying too much and can't quite get the rent up to that high sticker price that you paid. So another factor that I look at is it short-term rental friendly? Either yes or no. Now, the building, of course, can create rules and say, oh yeah, you can do short-term rentals for say 1 week or more or 2 weeks or more, but the law says differently. So either they're going to get the approval or they're not. And in this case, the intent is we don't want vacation renters in our building, and therefore we're not going to try to solicit the permit. So buyer project fit for this particular development, I would say, is going to be someone that's more value oriented. They want to get a deal in a good, steady neighborhood that they can turn around and rent out. I like Casa Parque. Next up, Luxor 500. So this is the big boy in the Luxor series. In case you've been following the channel, you already know that we like Luxor. I live in Cangrejo. Cangrejo's a cool neighborhood. Cangrejo also did not score that high on the neighborhood trajectory because it's another one of those neighborhoods that is, it's on the come up for sure. It's a great neighborhood. There's, very safe, tons of restaurants, parks, all that stuff. But like, how much more can it really grow, right? Unless they announce like a brand new park or like this crazy mass infrastructure project. We haven't heard that. So I think it's a good neighborhood, but it doesn't score exceptionally high on the neighborhood trajectory scale. Where Luxor 500 does score high on is the developer balance sheet and execution. I like Pacific Hills. They tend to self-fund. So that means that they're not as beholden to a bank. Well, self-fund, I mean, they're pulling in they do construction bonds and stuff like that. I don't know where they get their money, but yeah. Point being is when they say they're gonna build, they build. Now, generally, I would say if any developer, including these guys who I really like, says they're going to be starting in Q1 of 12 months from now, then plan on Q2 or Q3 in 12 months from now. And then push back their delivery date and any delivery date that a developer gives you by at least 6 months, because you can't predict what's going to happen over the next 4 years. I think it's hilarious that they try to do so, but anyway, that's everybody. That's typical in Panama, nothing nefarious about these particular developers. Luxor 500 is going to be awesome. Really excited about that. Just got the renders. This is going to be kind of the bee's knees of the Luxor development. It's going to be connected to Luxor 400, so that's going to be cool too. And yeah, overall, I'm excited about that development. I like the builder. So you can get all the details in the report. I suggest you jump on our website, download the report, just giving you a bit of a preview of our top 6 developments for the qualified investor visa, or if you've got $300,000 to spend in Panama City on pre-construction. So Luxor 500, still pretty far out. I would say at least 5 years, because they say, oh yeah, it's gonna take us 4 years. Great, when are you gonna start? They just released these prices, which means great time to be looking. I like the development. Contact us. We've got some good angles, some reserved units, and we know kind of how to negotiate and structure a deal that developer's not going to tell you how to do it. They're not going to try to give away in the middle of their negotiation, and that's true for any of these developers. Of course, you can go directly to them, but we kind of know the soft spots. We know what to push for and how to ask for it, and we also represent multiple unit sales. In your case, maybe you're just going to want to buy one condo from them. They're not exactly going to, give you the best deal. So next up is Nogal. I like the developer. That's Bern. Bern has a lot on the go. Bern is doing a lot. And that sometimes means that they move their cranes here and then they move their cranes there. And they dump a lot of money into this one at the expense of this one, which has to wait. So Nogal is in construction. We're covered there. Now, nice thing, or, a factor to consider about Bern is they're generally a bit more expensive. Now, they do good work. So Nogal, if you're interested, give us a call. We've actually got a resale in that building, which is kind of cool. So this is somebody that bought a few years ago, and usually in all of these buildings, we eventually have them, depending on how soon they're going to be delivered. And of course, when we started selling them, because you buy a property like this that maybe Luxor 500 is supposed to be ready in about 4 years. Well, you don't know where you're going to be 4 years from now, meaning that you can also turn to us to help you sell if you don't actually want to take possession. And when the times are good, the prices actually go up, and we have seen a few new price lists from new developers. So that's a good thing in terms of them already increasing their prices. Okay, let's talk Nogal for a little bit more. It's in Costa del Este. Again, one of those kind of slow and steady neighborhoods. Costa del Este is interesting. You always have new commercial development, whether they are opening up the hotel or inaugurating the hospital or creating a new little tiny micro park with like skateboards and all that good stuff. Stuff is going on in Costa del Este, but it's also kind of, I don't want to say stodgy. It's just an old neighborhood, right? As neighborhoods go in Panama. It's not that old. It's like 25 years old. But yeah, so Nogal doesn't knock it out of the park for neighborhood trajectory, or for that matter, for ROI, unless you get a good deal. And that one resale that we've got, and we'll probably get a couple more, always interesting. That ends up being a reassignment. So like buyer A bought a couple years ago. He wants to sell, buyer B comes in, developer has to bless the deal. There's usually a commission that gets paid to the developer. So that's always transparent. You know what's coming. But anyway, next development, Passage, or as they say in Panama, Passage. So I really like the area. That's why it scores very well for the neighborhood appreciation score. But more importantly, I like what these guys are doing in terms of they've got a nice amenity package. There's going to be a lot of good commercial space out there. And that's the key for the Amador Causeway, is kind of filling in a gap. 10 years ago, not much. There were like a couple buildings out there at the very beginning of the Causeway. Last year in my 2024 prediction for 2025, I said Amador was the up and coming neighborhood. Sure enough, it has done very well. Cavarosa, very high selling development. We sell it. I think the prices are little bit high to realize a big return. However, that's for an end user. That's going to be the kind of development that, you're not really looking to rent out, I think, because the returns are not going to be there based on the sales price. Let's see. Nice development. But back to Passage, they finally started construction. Getting construction started out on the causeway is tricky. So that helped the developer kind of their execution score, because the stage between we're getting ready to start and we've started, it can be weeks or months, and in some cases a year. Because as I've explained in other videos, what developers like to do is test the market. They'll put out prices, put out renders, see how many people come in, and then they'll finalize their bank financing. Well, these guys, bank financing finalized, construction financing going, moving dirt. So that's a big deal. I like the development, great views. Oh my gosh, if you want to look like right at the Panama Canal, it's kind of cool. So you're looking at the ocean towards the west. So you've got some amazing, rise in the east, sets in the west. Yeah, so sunset views. I like that development too. Next up is Next. So Next is interesting. Next is one of our few buildings. Actually, you know what? Passage is one of our few buildings that actually does have short-term rental formal approval. I think Next will ultimately as well. They haven't applied for it. They haven't gotten it yet, obviously, but I think that's the model that they're shooting for. I like this one for pure investment. Units are a bit smaller. Neighborhood is fine. It's in, Coco del Mar. I like the developer as well. So Coco del Mar, they do a bit better on kind of the neighborhood trajectory score, because Coco del Mar is filling in. Now, it's a very kind of small area, right? So there's not a whole lot that could be done. But one thing that nobody's talking about is this new park that's going to be converted. So right now it's like this empty field right on the ocean. That is going to be turned into a public park. My friend is one of the finalists for the architectural plans that the city is doing. So you're going to have a brand new park eventually right on the water. And that's the kind of thing that moves the needle in terms of appreciation and returns. So I like the Next development for that reason. It's in Coco del Mar. Coco del Mar is up and coming. Good amenity package, not amazing, but good. And overall, I think a pretty solid development. And finally, Costanera Aqua. I did save the best for last. This is hands down where I want to live with my family once it's ready. So love the developers, love the area. Here's what I really love, the amenity package. As a dad with a 2-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a sassy 13-year-old, all boys, I need some amenities in my life. Not necessarily like to go down and relax at my jacuzzi, but to burn batteries for my kids. And the amazing thing about Costanera Aqua is they're doing something that seems to be trending now, which is they build one tower. Costanera, already done, came out great. Mwah, finishes, views, location, all of that. But what they're doing is they're building a tower next to it called Costanera Aqua. And then 2 towers are connected, social areas down at the bottom. They're gonna break down this wall. So now you've got 2 massive social areas that are combined. And then you also have 2 private social areas for a bit more exclusivity. But I'm talking about giant pools, tricked out gyms, cold pools, hot pools, salt pools. I mean, like pools for days, racket sports, exercise facilities, a couple rooftop areas as well. Really the bee's knees on amenities. And I like Balboa Avenue for capital appreciation and also a bit of more of a neighborhood trajectory, because you've got a lot more filling in to do. The area as you get further down Balboa Avenue behind developments that are closer to Costco, still a bit dicey, not like bad, but just kind of not there at night. This is like the Bella Vista area. So it's like, it's fine, it's safe, but it's just kind of boring. It's kind of dead at night. Now, when you get closer to areas like Costanera Aqua, it's awesome. You've got walking distance, Reba Smith, walking distance right in front of you, a giant park. So I think neighborhood trajectory and therefore capital appreciation and return on investment is solid for the Costanera Aqua project. Also great developers. We've sold a lot there. We've got some really good negotiating power with those guys. So yeah, reach out to us. Remember, guys, this is what I do for a living. If you want to get a hold of me directly, it's kent@panamaequity.com. I can't write that below because then the spam bots will just blow me up. But I'm always available for you if you have any specific questions about any of these developments. And make sure to not just download the report below, but watch this next video about what you need to watch out for in terms of developers. Thanks for watching. Check out this next video.